Hello, everyone. Really happy to see so many people interested in getting into VC. Actually, we had this quick introduction. We've got just 30 minutes, so I think you can read in an app great biographies of those amazing ladies. But yeah, I will start just with question to ladies. But before that, I just want to ask who wants to get to the VC world? Who wants to work in a VC? Put your hands up. And who wants to be an angel investor right now or in the future? Okay,
Cool.
also a lot of people, because today we'll also talk about how to be an angel investor, what are the best practices to get to the angel investor world. Okay, but starting, let's say with Amanda. Do you think that VC world is some kind of an exclusive world? Because there is this stereotype that VC is those, let's say, guys in the Patagonia coats and all that stuff. Yeah, you know that, I suppose. Do you think it's still like that?
So I was at a breakfast this morning, and I was trying to look for a middle-aged man that I needed to introduce to someone else. And I thought, okay, he's wearing a light blue shirt, a navy jacket, you know, he's white, and I thought, this is half the room. So exclusive, I don't know, but certainly it's not very diverse yet. But I think we're here to talk about unconventional paths and ways that you can break into that. We do love men, by the way, so it's not just a crack at you. But exclusive, I think it's exclusive only if we let it be exclusive.
And Paula, what do you think?
So for me, it's a little bit of so actually just going back a little bit, so I'm part of a managing partner of a fund here in Spain called For Founders Capital. So I've been in the VC world for about 13 years now. The way I came into the VC world was by chance for me. So I finished my studies in the States, and then I saw an opportunity to work in San Francisco in something called Silicon Valley, which back in the day wasn't that kind of, that big of a word. And it was a fund investing in clean tech, pharma, and tech. And I did my studies in finance, so I said, okay, let's go for it. San Francisco sounds like fun. I didn't even do it for the VC stuff. So a couple of years into it, I really fell in love with the vertical and the category. So for me, it was a different, it wasn't an unconventional one. It was a little bit of by chance, and I decided to kind of stay in this path. But I do recognize that I have a lot of people these days that ask me, how can I get into the VC world? And it's a little bit of a opaque world in the sense that you really need to know people to be able to get into it if you're like in a typical path such as finance. And if not, you have to come from like more the entrepreneurial side and have launched something. And I think there's also a shift in VC minds, and we can talk later about it. But they're now, before they were more financiers and bankers, and now they're looking for like tech guys and entrepreneurs. So I think we are opening up to different backgrounds, and I think that's a great thing.
Like, I will also add something from myself, because surprisingly, just last month I quit actually VC. So that's a fun fact actually for this discussion panel, and I will start CVC in one of the biggest bank, like international bank. So I also think that VC world, especially, I'm from Poland, and I look from this perspective of C region, was really exclusive like 20 years ago when we just start actually to create a VC industry in C region in Poland. But right now it's really opening up for all those who wants to get into that. But surprisingly, like it's more and more like people look at VC. It's not that exclusive right now. Actually, founders and startups right now are more like, let's say, elite in C region. Those who are like pursue their entrepreneurial ambitions. So that's the perspective of VC, but I'm also interesting how it's going with angel investors. Is it also some kind of exclusive? Because I think there is not that much talk on the conferences, I would say, about being an angel investor, how to be an angel investor, and how to get into this world.
Absolutely. So I get to meet a lot of people who want to become angel investors, and a lot of people that could be angel investors, but they have no idea. So there is this stereotype, there is this mentality that angel investing is very exclusive and it's really not for you. Like, could I be an investor? Like, people have that maybe misconception that it's really not for them. However, the reality is that it's super attainable and very accessible, and it's a really lost opportunity for the startup ecosystem to have that image, because many professionals, many really great potential investors are, if they don't take the step, then the whole startup ecosystem is missing this important missing puzzle that someone could bring up. So it looks exclusive, but it actually is not. It's about taking curiosity and taking a step, because organizations like us are exactly created for that, to help people that are interested, pull them into the angel investing ecosystem that might seem a bit intimidating and mysterious. As you said, there isn't much conversation about that. But then there are organizations like us who are training, explaining, hand-holding into the space. Should I switch?
I think I actually disagree. I think it is exclusive in the sense that, first of all, to become a business angel, you need to have the money, right? So it starts by a point, if you want to do I don't know, 10 tickets of 20K, you already need to have 200K to have a diversified portfolio. So it is, in a way, already exclusive if you think about how many people can get in. I think it's true that a lot of programs have done a lot of work in syndicating angel investors so that it becomes more mainstream, so that you can put 5K tickets or even less, and then be all pooled into kind of the same vehicle. But it's also hard to get to the good deals. We VCs even find it difficult to get to these deals. I'm sure kind of if you're within a syndicated CC, but what I mean to say is becoming a pure business angel, a standalone business angel, is definitely hard and exclusive. I started doing my first kind of business angel deals only 5 years ago, when I already had kind of the network. I think I had the skills, but we'll see. And then the kind of the knowledge. But I think these platforms are great to kind of kick it off, but it's definitely hard to kind of decide, okay, I'm going to set apart a significant amount of money and put it into a very risky asset, and this cannot disturb my normal finances.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I absolutely agree. Is this on? It is not. Does this work? It is on now? Oh,
Yeah.
You hear me?
Good.
So I absolutely agree with you. But another misconception that you addressed so well was that angel investing seems like a solitary activity, that you have to be standing alone to be an angel investor. But the reality is that angel investing is a group sport, group activity. So you can never be a successful angel investor, never, of course. But you have better chance of becoming a successful investor if you invest with other people, collaborate with them, doing your due diligence, doing your sharing efforts in finding good deals, analyzing these deals, and after investment, helping these deals to become really successful startups. So we are definitely not encouraging you to go put all of your money into this risky, really risky asset class.
Okay, so just one more question about business angels, right? What is usually background of such people? Are there founders of startups, or they're working in corporations and then decide to be business angels?
I love that, because again, another misconception that comes with angel investing is that you either need to be from finance world or from tech world, but the reality is it's open for all kinds of professionals. Moreover, the ecosystem gains a lot of value when diverse professionals enter into the angel investing world, because the reality is there are all kinds of solutions that need to be created for all kinds of industries, and these industries need experts that are industry experts that are also putting their money in there and investing in solutions for their industries. And the best example I have is I got a pilot to become an angel investor, and he invested, and because he was there, a whole cohort of investors invested in an airplane safety solution, which is like absolutely essential. And had that pilot not been in that cohort, the group of investors would not be able to identify and understand the importance of that airplane safety feature. So yeah, it's open and it's very welcoming, and yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example. But right now, let's come back a little bit to VC world, because that's our main topic. So if it comes to
Yeah,
VC,
let me build on that a minute, because that really resonates with me. So I'm not a VC per se, and I just got into the world of investment recently in the past few years, and my path was similar as an industry expert. So I'm known as an expert in the future of work and education technology, and I work with large corporates like Google or HSBC, Novartis around the world, advising them, and with startups and scale-ups in that space. So it was actually investors that came to me for help, to say, can you look at our deal flow? Can you help us with investment decisions? Do you think there's product market fit here? So I got into the world of investment because I was an expert in my space, like the pilot in your story, So that's another route. And then I thought, oh, this is interesting, because I can have more impact about what technologies get built and the diversity as well of the founders that are behind those technologies. And so today I advise several funds, and I'm working more and more in that space. So that might be an option for some of you as well.
Okay, and Paula, you said that you get this background, financial background, right? And there is also this stereotype that if you want to work in a VC world, you need to have this financial background. Is it true, or are there other ways to get into the VC?
I think it's no longer true. So I think back in the days, or at least when I came back from the States to Spain and I was looking to join a VC fund, I think there were two of them, and both of them, the managing partners had a financial background, and they were like ex-bankers or ex-investment bankers particularly. And that was also the typical profile of VC investors. If you fast forward, I don't know, 5 years maybe from then, you would see that more and more. And if you look at like European tendencies, it's more like the second wave or the second generation of funds has been launched by entrepreneurs turned business angels turned VCs, or entrepreneurs turned VCs directly. And now we're seeing another wave of funds that are kind of more like data-driven funds. They're leveraging on the power of tech to make decisions. So these funds actually need tech people within their teams. And I know a couple of funds, not in Spain, but at least in the UK, that I think like 70% of their workforce are techs, or like tech people. So definitely no, you don't need to come from this background. And then industry people. So I think initially funds were more generalist. Our fund is a generalist, but nowadays there are a lot of funds that are becoming like fintech specialized, climate tech, and you have others. So these funds are also looking for profiles that are industry profiles, like in the pilot story, that can help with the selection of startups, or understanding the technology behind the startups or the business model, and so forth. So different backgrounds, I think, are now converging into the VC world, which is great.
Yeah, I think I totally agree, because one thing is that for example, VCs need tech people, especially VCs which are specializing in deep tech, when you need, for example, experts from biotech, from space tech, and all that stuff. But apart from that, I was working as a head of competence hubs. Actually, in the US, you call it head of platform, because VCs, of course, invest in companies money, but apart from capital, they can also invest knowledge, network, and everything which they have apart from the money. And this is also right now, some of them, not all of them, are focusing not only on investing with capital, but also with this network and supporting post-investment. And I think that's also another way to get into VC, to be specialized, for example, in marketing, sales, business development, get to the VC in some kind of a role as a platform, head of platform, head of platform
Yeah, just to
manager
add to that, you can
platform.
also advise, startups in exchange for equity, which in a sense is a way to invest. Or another strategy is rather than, I see there's a lot of aspiring angel investors in the room, rather than just trying to do that on your own, you can do it as part of a syndicate, but you can also invest in a small emerging fund that will take a small ticket. So they're doing the deal flow, sourcing for you, and you also have that community to learn from, right? It's learning by doing at the end of the day. So that would be my advice as well.
Okay. And there's also this stereotype, which I think is actually true, that VC is some kind of an industry that you have to have a good network, right? And let's talk about networking and how to effectively get to those professionals from the VC when you want to get a job at VC, how to approach, for example, partners.
You looking at me?
Yeah, I look at you
Okay,
because you're
so-
an expert
Well,
in that.
I really believe in the power of the network for a lot of things, not just getting into VC, but when it comes to sales, life in general. But I'd say that in the world of investment, it does seem exclusive. It seems scary, impenetrable. No, but just start hanging out where the investors are hanging out. Even attending this session is a good first step because you're listening to what is the language we're using, right? What are we talking about? Follow people on LinkedIn. And then if you find someone who's really smart and you're learning from them, who are they listening to? And you build those connections. Now, in terms of reaching out and actually making a link with someone, I don't think you should be shy, but always add value first. So no cold, connection request on LinkedIn. Even on the South Summit app, I have countless connection requests. I'm not answering them. I mean, it's just, who are you, right? So think about what is the value that I have to offer to this individual and do your homework before you reach out. So who are they? What are they interested in? Is there something you can offer? And always give before you ask for anything in return. Build a relationship. Then maybe they'll become a mentor. Maybe there'll be an opportunity for some kind of job at their fund. But think about what you can add before you ask.
And Paula, what are your, let's say, tips for do a great network in the VC world?
I was thinking about what Amanda was saying. So I think in the VC world in general, networking is very important. From a VC perspective, to get to know the startups and where to invest and build a community. The question, however, being how to get your way through VC through networking. It depends also because if you start from scratch, as she was saying, I mean, I must admit, I also have a ton of connections requests, and it's just like hard to follow on those. And like people stop you here during the conference, and it's like hard to build that relationship in like a couple of seconds. And I don't know if that would be the way to get there. I don't know if at this point, I think there is also a huge demand to coming in VC and not as much supply. So I don't know if like a best effort, and I might be contradicting myself in the sense that I use my network to invest, but I don't know if it's better to kind of build something or like start a podcast or, do mentoring. If you can do business angel investment so that you can have this discussion with the VCs when you have already built something, or I don't know if you're tech, build some sort of program or code or something that you can kind of put out there with just, here's my, background in finance, here's my CV, pleased to meet you, I want to get into VC. I don't think today it's going to get you there, unfortunately. And it's really unfair because it got me there like 15 years ago, but I'm not sure that's the right path these days.
There is a magical way to get investors to listen to you. You know what it is, right?
No.
Bring them LPs. So
Okay.
if you know people with money that want to invest in their fund, they definitely will answer your message.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, we are talking about networking and how to get to the VC via network. But when you get to the VC, when you work in this industry, it's also really important because most of the best startups do not send their pitch decks to investors. Investors get to them, so you have to be like really close to the best startup, the best founders. And I've got also another question. Do you think that it's a good way first to build a great startup, for example, do an exit, and then join a VC, create a VC? Or do you think like it's okay to start with basic, let's say, knowledge and like creating some kind of a value and get to VC? Like, what do you think?
Do you want to take that one?
I will, thanks. So there are multiple ways of engaging with a VC. One is getting a job, but I would encourage think bigger. Like, why would you want to go get a job at a VC? Go create your own VC, right?
Yeah.
So if you have created a company, you have exited, you are at a place that, like, you know, you're a successful founder, maybe you don't need a job, right? So you can start your own VC, you can start your own syndicate, you can become an angel investor, you can become a mentor, as you were mentioning. So there are so many ways of engaging. So of course, if you are a successful exited entrepreneur, a VC would love to have you, but maybe you would love to have your own VC.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
especially
think being a successful entrepreneur is even harder than
Yeah.
getting
Yeah,
into VC.
yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's like, if you're a successful entrepreneur, stay being an entrepreneur. You'll make more money. You'll have much more fun, and believe me, you won't want to come to VC. So I don't know. It's like going the other way around.
yeah, actually, I totally agree that building a startup yourself is way harder. And actually, in my opinion, this is elite, not the VC. Maybe it's controversial, but I think it's way harder because, for example, in Poland, but we also were talking how it's in Spain, you can get public money, you can create your own VC. It's like some kind of path that is like really structured, and you know the steps. And when creating your own startup, you never know how it goes, right? It's some kind of a roller coaster.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I don't know if you need to build a startup and have a successful exit to get into VC. One possible path is working in startups and getting a lot of experience.
Totally.
How do startups work? How do they operate? And there's a role within VC usually, which is the operating partner. So that's the person that's helping them optimize their businesses behind the scenes, right? So another job possibility.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
I hope that we won't like make that like we don't encourage not to go into VC, right? Because it looks like right now we are on a startup way, right? Okay, so let's come back to business angels, right? What are the first steps you have to take when you want to be an angel investor? Because we talk about first steps when it comes to VC, and if you want to be a business angel investor.
First step, if you're here, come talk to me. I'm
Shameless plug.
right. Then, there are multiple ways you can go around that. If you already know what you're going to invest in, building knowledge around that space is very helpful. So go around, educate yourself, self-educate yourself, understand a little bit more about what you might be putting in your money. Do a little bit of math and calculation. So understand that angel investing is not a one-time activity. So if you decide to become an angel investor and if you want to succeed at it, you need to invest in 10, 20, 40 startups because you need to have your portfolio built because you don't know which one of the startups on your portfolio are going to perform. So you gotta have diverse portfolio. So for you to put money in 10, 20, 40 companies, you need to have money available for them. Not today, but maybe within the next 10 years. So you need to understand how much in play money, investment money you have, and divide it into pieces and understand how big can your ticket be. If you need to be in 20 deals, you might be looking at like 5,000 each. That's 100,000 euros. That's a lot of money. That could get you a successful angel investor portfolio. So with your 5,000 euros in your pocket, that kind of defines what kind of companies you can go to. You probably are not going to be able to invest in Series A with 5,000. And probably not even pre-seed, but then you have to understand who you could invest with your money. So other than, once you understand yourself, then look around and see who else is thinking like you and who else do you trust? Whose opinion do you trust that you can bring a an offer, a deal, and say, hey, I found this, let's study together and maybe let's invest together.
And the earlier, the riskier as well. So if you don't have a
Absolutely.
huge budget to be spending as an angel investor, again, you do have to have enough to make multiple investments. It adds up quickly. And if you're doing it alone and you don't have experience, maybe some other strategies are better.
Exactly. So you need to find people whose opinion you
Yeah.
trust and that you can share the risks, share the responsibility of not only analyzing and doing the due diligence, but also after you make the investment, you got to help this startup to grow. So find people that you can together work to help this startup get somewhere. Yeah, and once you have your money ready, the startup ready, the people to invest with, you can go and then you can get started. What we do, what we train people to do is we bring group of investors that come to us and say, hey, I want to get started, put them in a group and do learning by doing experience of practicing angel investing and getting an investment done. So everyone gets to have a real life experience of angel investing, which then they can replicate in their world, in their life, and then maybe take some of these participants and go make an investment together.
Okay, we've got just last 2 minutes. If you have any questions, it's the time. Just before the last question from me. Anyone wants to ask question? Yeah?
In the meantime, I'll just say that that also compare a lot of startups. Like last year, I looked at 336 startups and I made 2 investments. So that gives you an idea of the amount of stuff you need to look at. So don't receive just a pitch and say, I love this, let's go for it. You need to do your homework and, at least, I'm not saying you need to look at 300, but do look at a decent set to build up your mind. Sorry.
You say yes to 1% of the startup.
Or less.
Hi, my name is Gemma Ballarin. I've been in tech for a good 20 plus years and lately in VC-backed tech SaaS companies. You talked about myths at the beginning of the conversation.
About?
Myths.
Myths, yeah.
Right? Can you talk about this one myth that some of us have heard or experienced in which VCs are seen as merely financial formulas or using financial formulas to invest on 12, 15 companies, asking them to get to incredibly high numbers or unrealistic goals, knowing that only one of them will make it and the other ones will not, but truly you don't care because you just need one company that makes it, and therefore it's a bit of a not human way of supporting companies, because at the end of the day, you're putting all 15 companies through goals that you already know they won't achieve, but statistically one will do. So how can you, talk about that?
Yeah, I would say if you've suffered it, then it's not a myth. And it's true. Like at the end of the day, we do request a lot of the company, well, all of the companies that we invest in to have significant amount of growth and significant achievements. It's an outlier business. It's like an extreme risky business where we are telling our investors it's either we make 3-4 times the fund or we go to zero. The average performance of VC doesn't work for you to raise the next fund. It doesn't work for us to do a 1.5 something on your LP's money or a 2 times your LP's money. That won't get you to the next fund. So we are making, and it is maybe sometimes unethical, I'm not sure, but we are stressing out our companies that we want them to be overachievers. And we're basing all this in the fact that, as you've said, and as she has said, only 1% of our companies are either fund returners or so companies that give us the whole fund in returns as DPIs. So we want all our companies to be like this. Unfortunately, not all of them can. And we cannot reinvest in the companies that are not, because otherwise we won't set our numbers. Unfortunately, the VC world is looked at like, oh, they go along as like they're super cool, blah, blah. Our bosses are our LPs. There's people that put a lot of money behind our fund, and we are accountable for that money and for the traction that we said we will get to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is business. At the end of the day, it's finance, and I'm not sure when finance is ethical or it's not often ethical. I think we are ethical in the way that we say it up front, what we want to achieve,
but definitely if you're building a startup, ask your VC, you know,
Yeah.
what do I need for me to raise the next round with you guys? Is this a 3 times growth? I won't be able to make it because my market doesn't work that way. Don't get that VC money.
Yeah.